Hi Bun Community, it's Mike here, and today I'm going to show you some albums that I picked up in October. They're all new releases, and one notable exception to that is a new release that came out last Friday, 1st of November, and so many people have shown this album already, and I'm not surprised because this is the recording event of the year, I think. Of course, it's Songs of a Lost World, the first album by The Cure since, what, 2008 is it, with 413 Dream. And yeah, I was so much looking forward to this. And I must say, I wasn't disappointed. I mean, The Cure have been a sort of soundtrack to my life for over 40 years. Well, in fact, over 45 years, I believe, because, you know, this, there you go, their debut single, Killing an Arab, and the fantastic 10:15 Saturday Night. And there it is on the Small Wonder label. But they're only released before they went onto Fiction Records. So, you know, The Cure mean quite a lot to me musically. So, what's the album like? Well, in a word, brilliant. It's a really, really fantastic album. You know, Robert Smith has lost none of his songwriting abilities. You know, and the album itself, you know, when you listen to it, it's very, very, you know, recognisably Cure. And the version I got here is on this sort of lovely, sort of grey, sort of marbled vinyl. And here's the inner with the lyrics, and there's the album itself, and it came with a poster which I won't get out, but it's probably seen this already. Yeah, so what's the album actually like? Well, as I say, it's brilliant. There are 8 tracks on here, and you know, two in particular I think are absolutely lovely. And there's a second track on each side, and Nothing Is Forever, which is the second track on side 1. And then I Can Never Say Goodbye, which again is the second track on side 2. But I've been listening to this album over and over again since I picked it up Friday morning, and yeah, it is lovely. And you know, as a real bonus to all us Cure fans, they live streamed a concert. It was 8 p.m. From London on Friday night, and they ran through the whole of the sort of the latest album. Then they went off for an intermission, came back, and we got you know, a lot of the old stuff, some of the hits, and it was absolutely lovely. It's on YouTube. It's available for anyone to see. So I'll leave a link in the description to that because you know it really is good, and it shows that the band, you know, they're still as tight as ever. They're really on form, and as I say, Robert Smith's songwriting has not diminished one little bit over the years. So, you know, an album that we probably thought we'd never see, a new studio album by The Cure. Right, let's get on to the other stuff from October. And another band that released an album after so many years, and get it the right way up. You remember this from 1984, Propaganda, Secret Wish on the ZTT label. And this album was a you know, critically acclaimed. It was a commercial success, and it's lovely sort of German electro pop. And you know, the band was set for sort of big things, and then they just disappeared. So what happened to them? Well, apparently, when they were touring with Secret Wish, they consulted a lawyer who apparently told them that their contract with ZTT meant that however many more albums they produced for the record company, they would never make any more money. So apparently they tried to renegotiate the contract, and that was unsuccessful. And I think there were injunctions and all sorts, of the band couldn't go off and release anything with a different record company. And to make matters worse, the singer, Claudia Bricken, was married to Paul Morley, who was the boss of ZTT. So there was a real schism within the band, and sadly they kind of split up. Well, Claudia Bricken and Susanna Freitag, now they tour with a band that they call X Propaganda, and they do the old stuff, they do some new stuff, but Propaganda, the male half, which is Michael Mertens and Ralph Dorper. They didn't release anything until 1990 when they released an album called 1, 2, 3, 4, and so this is only their third album. And there you go. It's called. It was out on October the 11th, and it's called "This Is Propaganda." And yeah, it's a pretty good album. It's sort of what you'd expect from Propaganda, really. They haven't changed an awful lot over the years, but they've got a new female vocalist, and there she is in the middle, and she goes on by the name of Thunder Bay, but she's not credited as a member of the band. She's credited as a guest vocalist on this, and she does an admirable job. She's really, really good. And there you go. There's various details, lyrics, etc. on the back. So it's a double album. So there it is, and it's on lovely blue vinyl. In fact, it came in two versions. It was a single album, and then this one, the double. So the first album is, very much sort of Propaganda as they were, and the second album, I won't get it out because it looks exactly the same, but I'll show you the other sort of inner there. That's the band again. The second album. It's all instrumentals. It's very good bit of sort of electronic music. So yeah, so I was really pleased to get that, and I just hope that Propaganda don't leave it quite so long before they release another one. Right, on to the next one, and this is the Kings of the Contemporary concept album, Public Service Broadcasting, and this is their latest album. It's called The Last Flight, and the last flight in question is the flight of Amelia Earhart in 1938 to an attempt to fly around the world. And you look on the inside then, there's a map, and it shows the sort of the flight, and she went from west to east, starting in California, and sort of flying across Europe and Asia, and finally, I'll show you just sort of here somewhere. There's Howland Island in the Pacific, and that was the last stop that she made for refueling, and then set off again for Honolulu, I believe, and unfortunately she never made it. So she was missing. No one's ever found the plane or anything, and she was declared officially dead in 1939, I believe. Anyway, this album sort of, it documents the whole sort of process from Amelia's sort of dreams of becoming a flyer, sort of right the way through to the ill-fated stop off at Howland Island, and the end of everything. But what public service broadcasting do is they take sort of the audio from old sort of newsreel footage, and they blend it in with their music. So they tell a story through the newsreels, through their music, and they've done some really good stuff in the past. They've done stuff about the space race called the Race for Space, that goes right up to the last Apollo mission to the moon. And they've done an album about Welsh coal mining, the history of Welsh coal mining. which is absolutely brilliant. And with that album, they involved a lot of people from the Welsh coal mining community, and there's a lot of their reminiscences are blended in with music. But anyway, back to this album. There's some great female vocalists on here. So the third track on the album is called The Fun of It, and it features a singer who I didn't know called Andrea Casablanca. So I looked her up, and she's part of a German indie duo called Gurr, that's Gurr, and yeah, they're pretty good. She's got a lovely voice, so I'll be looking that band up again, and having a proper listen. Then the next track is called The South Atlantic, and this is written by Public Service Broadcasting, and this is the kit. And this is the kit. It's a project of a singer called Kate Staples, and Kate provides the vocals on that track. And this is the kit of one of my favourite bands. Really, really, lovely female vocals, and yeah, it's really, really lovely song. And then finally, we've got another guest female vocalist, Era, and she's produced quite a few albums of her own, and she's on a song called A Different Kind of Love. So yeah, so you get this lovely sort of booklet with the album. I can show you a couple of the pages. So there you go. So you've got sort of like newspaper cuttings, so for each of the track there's a sort of newspaper cuttings and various other bits and pieces that tell you the story of Amelia Earhart's attempt to fly a plane around the world. So I thoroughly recommend that album. It's brilliant. Right, on to some punk now. Australian punks. Amyl the Sniffers. Now, I like Amyl the Sniffers. There you go. I don't like the album cover. In fact, there was a little sort of poster inside, and I think that would have made a much better cover to the album than what they came out with. It's a bit cool. It's a bit cliche, the album cover. But yeah, this is not a bad sort of punk album. It's called Cartoon Darkness. There's a track called Chewing Gum on here, which is really good. Now, Amy Taylor, the singer here, she's her songwriting has definitely sort of developed over the years, particularly sort of lyrically. And yeah, this album has some really good tracks on. Nothing's over sort of 2 or 3 minutes long, as you'd expect with decent punk. Me and the Girls is a great track that sort of ends the album. Then there's a Motorbike Song, which is another one that's really, really. But yeah, they're a pretty good band, but I think they've kind of lost some of the energy that they had, some of the sort of raw energy that they had with the early EPs, like sort of Giddy Up. Absolutely brilliant, stonking sort of punk rock. But this is a little bit more considered, and if I might say so, I think it sounds a little bit like they're going through the motions with it. So, although I like the album, I wouldn't say it's their best album by any means. But of course, you may disagree with me, and that's your prerogative, isn't it? Anyway, I'll finish off with another punk band. These guys are from West London, and they're called Chubby and the Gang. And this album is called And Then There Was Chubby and the Gang. And again, they're pretty straightforward punk. I'll show you the vinyl because it's quite nice. It's sort of red and black sort of vinyl, and quite a sort of psychedelic sort of cover there with a very sort of angry-looking sun looking over sort of what looks like a sort of stormy setting there. So yeah, and yeah, so you've got some great tracks on here, I think. Yeah, since you said goodbye, probably my favourite track on here. To Be Young is really good as well. But yeah, it's pretty good stuff, straightforward punk rock, as I say. And I always pick up Chubby and the Gang, what it's on Flashpoint Records, and yeah, absolutely brilliant. So I'm really pleased with what I picked up in October, and of course I'm particularly pleased with what I picked up last Friday on the 1st of November. So if you like the video, please leave me a comment, because I always like to know what you think. And so until next time, I'll say goodbye. So see you then. Bye.